The Angry Chicken is a production of Amove TV. Bookmark amove.tv for more gaming and esports shows. The Angry Chicken is directly supported by listeners like you via patreon.com/TAC.
Everyone, get in here! Ready for action! I've got the beast in my sight.
A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. This is The Angry Chicken.
Blizzcon has come and gone. All three of us are back, and it's time for a new episode of The Angry Chicken. Hey, folks, I'm Garrett Weinzierl. Willie Dills Gregory is here. Jocelyn Moffat is here. Let's do this thing. It's been a while since all three of us have been on the show together. How you guys doing?
Good. Not sick.
Not sick. That's good. That's good.
That makes one of us, I think, then.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. Although I gotta say, Jocelyn, I miss your sick voice.
Well, I wasn't actually sick. I was just really, really into medieval times and lost my voice like before BlizzCon even started. That's all.
Oh man, that lasted so long. I was sitting there just thinking, I think she's sick. She's just not aware. I don't think voices disappear for that long.
I never ever got sick. I just, oh man, okay. So I think I finally got my voice back like literally a week later. It was like the Tuesday, and I lost it on the previous Wednesday. It was ridiculous. Although I did do a lot of talk. It's not like I rested my voice at any point after I lost it. So I just had a lot of crazy scratchy conversation.
I always wanted to know what it would sound like if Jocelyn was a podcaster that started smoking before she was born. So I'm glad that I got the answer to that question. Dills, man, how about yourself, dude? We first of all missed you at BlizzCon.
Very much so.
You know, the first 5 times I was just like, yeah, I miss him too when I was asked where you were, and then eventually I was just like, stop asking me where Dills is. Stop it.
Go check Twitter.
I had to actually, at the MGA World Championships, I had to make an announcement on a microphone that I burned my arm because I got asked this, you know, like, I don't know, 200, there's 215 guys there. Probably got asked it 215 times. So.
Oh, man, what happened to your arm?
Yeah, I burned it.
You go to a local print shop, you just get a shirt printed?
Week. I mean, I missed BlizzCon, but it was for good reason. I had to go direct. If I had gone to BlizzCon too, I would have literally flown from Anaheim directly to Vegas, and that would have been no bueno. So, and I barely made it. Like, my voice, it's working, but it's tough to push it out of my body. So, it was a good week, super fun week in Vegas. Caught up a little bit on some of the Hearthstone news, but I have to say I feel more out of the loop right now than I ever have, I think, in the 4 years of Hearthstone's existence. Like, there's so much going on, and I feel like I haven't read up on all of it. So,
well, on the plus side, we only had 14 cards revealed at BlizzCon, so it's
That's
the
true.
smallest loop you could ever be out of.
Yeah, and we're not getting the next bunch until like the 20th or something, right?
Which
so we got
technically
like a week or so.
is next Monday, yeah. So.
Yeah, not to alarm you.
Here we go on Tuesday.
Yeah, not to alarm you. The 20th is next Monday. It's 6 days away.
Yeah.
November is speeding by at a rate that makes me feel like I'm 80 because all my grandparents used to talk about how fast time goes by. And now I'm reaching that point. So that's just lovely. But yeah, it's a weird time when Jocelyn Moffat shows up to TAC and says, on the plus side, only 14 cards were revealed. Only 14 cards. But
well, last year I think we got like 35 or something, so it could be a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah, but man, okay, so the dust has settled from BlizzCon, and oddly enough, Dills, I feel in the same boat as you, and I was at BlizzCon. But what did you think, man? What do you think of Cobolds and Catacombs as the expansion? And don't just say salty because Jocelyn somehow like totally called this insanity.
Wait,
well,
when did you call this? I don't remember this.
I called half of it, and it was just because, yeah, the Cobolds part, because of the candle in the blog post. But I also said like 5 other things. So
Yeah, I thought you were on board with the pirates thing, but okay. I do remember you saying but there is a candle, so kobolds could be a thing. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
but I definitely didn't think it was going to be like the whole thing.
Sure. Well, once we saw
And
that
that
Marin
Marin
the
wasn't
Fox
gonna be a
himself
pirate.
was not a pirate, I was a little
Yeah.
bit like, okay, maybe it's not just a pirate thing, because he very clearly looked like one, but then they pulled back on that. So I am cautiously optimistic about Cobolds and Catacombs. I feel like there's a few things that they kind of doubled down on that I wish hadn't been doubled down on. So I really don't like the deck Big Priest, the deck known as Big Priest, which is essentially a deck that utilizes Recruit in the most broken way possible. And they just said, hey, that's a keyword now. So,
well, on the plus side, we have only seen 15 cards or 14 cards. So there's a possibility that they basically just like their big thing from this expansion seems to be the dungeon run. So I'm wondering if they just kind of like they gave us a keyword that is already in the game, right? So it's not a new mechanic. They just gave a name to the thing that it does.
One card.
So,
it exists in one card, right? It's Barnes is the only card that. But
and just a few episodes ago, I forgot, it's probably 2 months ago now, but there was comments by Team 5 folks that were like, yeah, Barnes, we were kind of concerned about, but it's fine. It's just one card. And it's like, well, but what? Hold the phone. Yeah. You're turning it into a keyword.
Yeah, and so the problem that I have with it is that it's going to force people to build decks around it, right? So this is what Big Priest has done. It's just really annoying because that deck to me just feels like now we're literally just playing card or coin flipping, right? Like I played against it a bunch and on the ladder and DHL and stuff, and it's like if I drew Barnes, which is a fairly high chance if I mulligan 100% for it to get him by turn 4. If I drew him, then I probably won the game, and if I didn't, then I probably didn't win the game, right? So, yeah, it's a little concerning. Now, I do like the fact that it's going to be costed better, apparently, the way it looks so far, because the card we saw that is just here's Recruit is 6 mana, here's Recruit, right? And obviously, like Barnes is the 1/1 version of it, so it's not pulling the full minion, but it's still like to me, it's just kind of like doubling down on a mechanic that didn't really seem that fun. So hopefully I'm wrong, and the way that they've costed everything makes it feel a lot cooler. One thing that it will kind of do is it'll bring back more interesting combo-y style decks, I think, that are less reliant on just playing minions on curve. And I think right now we're in the midst of the most curve stone we've ever had, right? Where the best decks are decks that just play a 1-drop and a 2-drop and a 3-drop and a 4-drop, and their 2-drop buffs all the other ones behind it. So like that's okay with me because I do like interesting decks. I just kind of more like decks where you try to control things on your own rather than hope you recruit the right minion. Well, obviously you can build the deck, so there's only like one minion possible to recruit. It's still kind of
let me stop our chat room and YouTube and emails in the future from bruising their noses from pushing their glasses up too hard. We're aware that Barnes does not pull a card out of your deck and instead summons a 1/1 copy of a minion, but this is extremely similar. Is the point we're trying to make.
It's not exactly the same.
Yasharaj is the one that straight up recruits, but
and Yasharaj is neither unless there's a card that says unless they change Yasharaj to say at the end of every turn recruit. Which I guess
they might do.
That would be too.
Yeah.
But it's a persistent effect. So recruit, as far as I could tell, is like just a battle cry effect most of the time, or a single time spell.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We haven't seen all the cards, but my whole problem is pulling random minions out of your deck has historically in Hearthstone not been very fun, right? Now Yasharaj costs 10, so it kind of is okay because it costs so much. But when I saw the 5-mana 2/4 guy, I was like, this could be an issue. But like I that's why I said cautiously optimistic, right? Like I'm still have a lot of excitement about the expansion itself, but just that being the new keyword was the one thing where I was like, this makes me a little concerned. So outside of that, everything else looked really, really cool. I liked a lot of the new cards. The dungeon run I'm super excited about because I really enjoy things like the Gauntlet and Eternal. And then at the end of the announcement, they said there is no continual rewards outside of the card back the one time you complete it. and I got instantly less excited. So I'm hoping that they change that, and I'll save the full conversation because I think that's our email, right? But yeah, but that was like the only other thing where I was like, damn, like I was so excited a second ago. And I'll tell you why I think that's a mistake, but everything else looks friggin' awesome. Again, the artwork is killing it. The theme is killing it. It's gonna be super fun. The little cinematic is killing it. All of the stuff. The announcement was killing it. Ben Brode was killing it.
The cinematic was so good. That song was amazing. I wish that song had been like the song in the short, because apparently that was actually Christy Golden's first job at Blizzard. So if you guys aren't aware, Christy Golden was the writer of a lot of the Warcraft novels. She wrote the song.
I didn't know that. What? Yes. Okay. All right. Oh, that's what you. Okay. All right. I have a fun story from Blizzcon. I have a fun story.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. So Blizzard's very kind to us. And they typically give us media passes, press passes, for those of you out there who, it doesn't matter, it's semantics. For in the main hall, there's usually a little roped off section where you can go and sit and get good seats. If you're media, you don't have to show up 8 hours earlier and try and stay awake as if you were 18 years old again, which I cannot do anymore. I typically get bad seats at BlizzCon. So we showed up an hour earlier, and even the media area was filled up. So Katie and I went and sat really, really far back in the main hall. Sorry, Team 5, but I know I could go watch it on your stage, but you got to be in the main hall. You got to get in there. The ground literally shakes. There's no experience like being in the main hall for BlizzCon announcements. And so we're sitting down for the opening ceremony. We're like way in the back, like probably like 30 rows, like not rows, but like chunks of chairs, sections. We're like 30 sections back. And I'm sitting down. I finally find a seat. It was so hard to find a seat. And Katie and I are just sitting there a while waiting for it to start. And there's this woman in front of me. She keeps getting up and looking around for her friends. And I'm like, is that? And then like finally she turns my way and I'm just like, excuse me, are you Christy Golden? And she goes, yes, I am. And I immediately started fanning out on her because I just started reading her Star Wars novel, Inferno Squadron, about Battlefront 2. Say what you want about the game. The book is very solid. I love her so much. And she's been at, I think, 3 of the BlizzCons that I've been at now. And I've never found her, never run into her. Couldn't get to see her when she was doing signings because I was busy at Hearthstone announcements. Like, 3 years, Garrett. I've tried to meet this woman. I love her. I always wanted to as well, and I've been in the same boat. Like I'm just like my very first BlizzCon, all the way back in 2010, was the only time I ever ran around and got signatures and did like the meet and greets or any of that kind of stuff. That was the only year I ever really went and like hardcore just was a fan. Ever since then, it's like, well, I got to see this, I got to see that because I got to talk about it on the podcast. And I've never had the chance to meet Christy Golden. So she is like every other Blizzard employee I've ever met, even though she's a new one. And she just immediately just like, oh, I'm so excited about this, that, and the other. You're going to see some of my work up on the stage like in a second. She never told me what it was afterwards. So now I know she was referencing the Hearthstone cinematic. So that's awesome. That's great.
By the way, I really like the fact that they did do they split up the stages for the opening ceremony. I thought that was awesome. Because there's been so many times where you can't get into the main hall, and then you're just watching everything on a screen. But seeing everybody in the little Hearthstone section, and here comes Ben Brode, and I'm like, yeah, this is how it should be. Because you go to the thing you're most excited about, and then you get your own little awesome moment that's not just watching it on a screen. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how well it went. Because was it Morheim right beforehand was like, oh, by the way, we're trying something new this year. Go easy on us, and they killed it. It was perfect. Yeah, and like if you're at home, you wouldn't know any better, and if you're at BlizzCon, you're like, oh, thank God, there's other stages I can go and sit at. So
I almost wish that they'd told us ahead of time because I 100% would have gone to the Hearthstone stage, but it was like,
well, they were tweeting about it.
To the side. Oh, were they tweeting about it?
Tweeting about it, but I didn't see like an actual big announcement about it that it was going to work that way.
I was getting Twitter shamed by Yang Wu for not sitting at the Hearthstone stage. I was tweeting about how I randomly found Christy Golden in the crowd. And he's like, hey. That's awesome, but you're at the wrong stage. What are you doing over there?
I randomly sat at the hero stage because there was lots of seats left there. So I was like, this is great. I'm just going to find a seat. Easy peasy, done.
Yep. Yeah. It was.
See, if they had made that a big announcement, because I do feel like, like if you weren't in the know, you didn't realize that, it would have caused there to be less of an issue getting a seat at the main stage,
at the main
right?
stage, yeah.
Because everyone would have picked
Plus, I
their
could
game.
have chosen my own adventure. I could have voted for certain death.
Certain death. Certain death. And also like BlizzCon was great, but the Hearthstone announcement was great. Like strictly from like an opening ceremony, I think, point of view, like the hype and just what a weird thing to pull off. Again, I was very impressed by how they pulled that off. Like Ben Bro's just like, all right, I'm going to sit down on your right, on your left. Which do you choose? Like it was so great. Cool. I want Ben Bro to be my dungeon master for everything. Okay? Bro, if you're listening, we've got a Star Wars Edge of the Empire campaign going. We'd love for you to come and DM it for us. Thank you. So, but yeah, well, I'm. It sounds like I think cautiously optimistic is a really fair reaction to have, Dills.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, this is going to be the final expansion of the Year of the Mammoth, so technically it has the least impact out of the 3 that we've had. So if you say Ungoro was the best one we had, then that's great that it was the first one of the year. Mm-hmm. And then and if this is the worst one, that's fine because it's going to be on the tail
gone
end.
In just over a year.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not the worst if this one does kind of suck. Now that being said, I think the legendary weapons look cool as hell. I think there's lots of other awesome
the fact
things.
that everyone's getting a weapon is really cool.
Yeah, there's lots of things to be excited about here, and I don't want people to think like, oh, I think this all sucks. I just think like there's a couple of announcements that I looked at and I was like, I wait and see on that one, So
there's some strange things. We'll definitely talk more later. So we have another announcement before we get into the rest of the show. Taco, Frozen Throne. Freaking Cobolds and Catacombs are almost here, so we are out of time. We need to get Taco Frozen Throne
do it. Yeah,
out and
running.
running.
It was a busy November, so it was hard to get it done at the beginning of this month. So this is actually totally fine. This is actually how the timing ends up working. Other time, I won't even be bothered by that because it's kind of like one last hurrah with the Knights of the Frozen Throne expansion. So Saturday, December 2nd, that's when we're going to do it. I will post like exact times and everything when I make sure that I have my schedule free and clear and I understand what's going on. Because I do work a bartending gig, so I got to still, make sure that doesn't interfere.
What does bartending mean?
That makes me think that you do it in your apartment. Sure. Like you have people show up.
The quote is really like I work like 5 days a month, something like that. So. But yeah, so I'll start doing patron invites this weekend, and those will go out to the $2 plus patrons first, and then we'll start kind of inviting more and more people once we feel like we've gotten everybody in, and then it'll be open to everybody to fill out the 128 person bracket. Same rules as last time, best of 5 with one band, conquest style, and we're gonna do the random participation prizes again because people seem to really like that. So even if you don't think you have a chance to win, you still have a chance to just get a $20 gift card, which will happen right before the new expansion. So that'd be cool. Get some extra card packs in the new expansion. So yeah, looking forward to that. It'll be fun. We'll do everything we do normally. So casting like the top 4 or something like that, and looking forward to seeing what everyone brings to the taco. I'm calling it Frozen Taco. I think
Frozen Taco.
Frozen Taco.
If this is like your, I don't know, like your first episode listening, Taco stands for The Angriest Chicken Open, which is a tournament we do a few times a year. This year we started doing it once per expansion, basically. So this is the one for the Frozen Throne. And so it is open, but patrons get first dibs. We'll give signups to them first, and then those signups will go open shortly thereafter. So keep your eyes on amove.tv for the open signup links coming to you a few days after.
Yeah, and the idea is we want to be able to get everything done in a day. So 128 people, no more. There will be you can sign up as an alternate for people who don't show up, which people always don't show up. So. Although last time we had way less than 128, so I don't expect that it's going to be more than that.
But this time we announced ahead of time that there's random prizes, so...
Oh, that's true.
And there would be more people.
Yeah, maybe. So what are we capping at 64?
So.
No, we can still go to 128.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
guys, the next one should be Catacos. Like Catacomb and Taco.
Cataco? Cobolds and Catacos?
Yeah.
I like it. This is
Dills, no.
I mean, yeah, it's the best idea we got so far.
No, this is it.
Ouch.
This is it. You're outvoted, Dills. This is Jocelyn. This is why I like you. That was terrible and awesome simultaneously. Well, speaking of things that are awesome, but not quite as cheesy as Jocelyn's sense of humor, this episode of The Angry Chicken is sponsored by Harry's Razors. Once again, we're here multiple times a month, usually talking to you about Harry's Razors. You can still go over to harrys.com/TAC to find out all about it. But as we mentioned, all three of us here use Harry's Razors. I have actually spent my own money to refill my razors, even though, I'll be honest, they sent us a solid amount of samples. They send us a solid amount of samples. Yeah. They treat us
back
well.
In Vegas, I had a box waiting for me. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think they do it on purpose because that's how I converted my dad. I was like, hey, here you go, have a sample, and before I knew it, I got a text from him. He was like, hey, what's your podcast code? And I was like, yes, I did it.
I think these will be definitely some gifts I'm going to give out to some more family members, because every time I give it to somebody, a little box that and I think this is I haven't opened it yet, but I think it's the Christmas box.
Oh, it is.
Coolest.
It is. I just got mine as well, and it's a good thing you brought that up, dude. Because if anyone out there, you want some holiday ideas, you want to get your shopping done early, Harry's has brought out their special edition holiday set for this year. Last year was the first time we ever got one of these holiday boxes on this show. We got them again for Father's Day. Anytime Harry's does one of these box sets, they're really nice. We're nerds on the show, so we're biased. We love ourselves a good unboxing experience. And it's solid. It's just, I love myself a good box. It's a nice looking, it's teal. There's some good stuff in it. Jocelyn's laughing because she's a 13-year-old girl.
Look, Harry, the razors themselves, everything you want. Do you want sharp blades? Got it. Durable? Got it. Flex? Got it. Lubricating strip? Got it. Precision trimmer? Got it. I don't think there's anything else you could ever need. So
what about a free trial set? If you're thinking to yourself, I'm not sure.
Too.
Yeah, you can go to harrys.com/TAC.
And it reaches hard to reach places like your shoulder.
I'm a little concerned that you have a hard time reaching your shoulder still.
Sounds like you might have a calcium deficiency.
The human, it's a long way.
That's wonderful. But yes, that is the offer from Harry's for our listeners of The Angry Chicken. You can go to harrys.com/TAC right now and claim your free trial offer. It's a $13 value, free when you sign up. The only thing you have to do is cover shipping. It comes with a razor handle, a 5 precision engineered blade with lubricating strip and that trimmer blade that Dills is talking about, and I think his shoulders have made friends with. You get rich lathering shave gel, which I can't say without going into that weird voice, and a travel blade cover. So go check them out, harrys.com/TAC. We thank them for supporting this episode of The Angry Chicken. And now let's move into this week's Hearthstone news.
Good news, everyone!
Hey guys, Blizzard folks, you listening? I think you just accidentally gave away the Cobolds and Catacombs release day. And here's why. So folks, if you missed it, a new invitational, which by the way, I hate that Team 5 is making me continue to pause on that word.
Yep.
But yeah, a new invitational is going down. This is the event that we had at BlizzCon. And this time, and I apologize for this, but it's going on down under because Hearthstone's next invitational is going to Sydney, Australia, and it's going there next month. They're putting together a champion team consisting of Jackie Chan, Eloise, Dione, and Ant, and they're going to go up against some of Australia's best players, Naviute, Yoan, Citizen Napa, and Mage. And that's all great, and I'm not trying to just steam right over the invitational announcement, but for everyone out there, all Hearthstone players, whether you're into esports or not, the most interesting thing that came out of this that was while detailing the tournament format, Blizz let slip that all new expansion cards will be allowed, and there are dates as to when this is going down. Not to mention, Hearthstone went and did the work for us. So they pointed out that Gadgetzan released Thursday, December 1st, Ungoro on Thursday, April 6th, and Frozen Throne on Thursday, August 10th, not April 10th. So if a tournament is starting on December 10th, which the Invitational in Sydney is, and it allows new expansion cards to be played, that all signs point to Thursday, December 7th is what I'm trying to say.
Makes sense to me.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool because it's the first Thursday in the month that they said it was going to release. So I think technically, doesn't it, everything else up till now is said before the end of December or something like that, or mid-December.
What did they say at BlizzCon, did they say early in December? Because I thought that's what they said.
I can't remember if they said early. I think they said early.
As soon as I saw that, I immediately thought,
Yeah.
okay, the 7th or the 14th. Like, those are the 2 Thursdays, right? So, I mean, this is the earliest Thursday in December, so it all seems to make a lot. Yeah, I mean, this is perfect. So, put it on your calendars.
If they told us that World of Warcraft cinematic made any other previous thought not retain inside my brain. That's what happened at BlizzCon. I was like, oh, cool, early December, and oh my god, Sylvanas is a Banshee. This is all I needed to see. What else was just announced? So yeah, totally makes sense. I'm good. I don't have to wait very long, and with Thanksgiving right around the corner, it'll be here before I know it. But guys, there's also Celebration in order this week if you're an arena player, because no more Death Knights. They're gone. As announced last week by Zariah, we can no longer draft Death Knights in the arena.
Yay!
Yeah, no, this is awesome. I mean, I liked that we actually got to try it out. Didn't work very well. If you got a Death Knight, it was just way too damn powerful in that format. So they've been making some really positive moves. You know, taking Vicious Fledgling out, and now taking the Death Knights out. You know, I don't like, if a card is a problem, I don't like just reducing its chance to be in the draft, because when it is in the draft, even though it's in there less, it's still a problem when it is. So I much prefer just saying, okay, it's gone. I feel like, and then we've also got these arena exclusive card things.
I was going to say, how did you feel about the arena exclusive cards and the crowd voting at BlizzCon?
I haven't had a chance to look at them all. They're all super crazy, right? But it's interesting, and I'm hoping that this is what it's leading us towards, a rotating set, right? A rotating arena set is what I'm hoping this is leading us towards. And it kind of feels that way to me right now. So everything feels like, and the fact is there's any news at all about arena, and there's been a bunch now for a while. It all just feels like this is something that clearly matters to them again, and that's just exciting. So thank you, Blizzard. Thank you. Got to commend them when they do the good stuff. So taking the Death Knights out, it's great, because it makes it was really fun sometimes when you got a Gul'dan or you got a Frostlich Jaina, but it was only fun for you. And we don't want cards like that are only fun for the person. We want the whole game to be fun. So this is great.
I'm very excited about this whole Deadeye thing.
The Hunter arena specific card?
Yeah, the Hunter card.
So if you're watching the
power target minions.
If you're watching the video version, well, you already noticed I have very quickly brought this up, and so that's, and for those of you at home not watching the video version, it's a 2-mana Hunter spell that for the rest of the game, your hero power can also target minions.
Yeah, there's some
cool.
really interesting cards in this set of cards that I looked at, like the Polymorph ?
Yeah.
You pick a minion and then you discover a new minion and turn it into that. I mean, that's crazy. That's so cool. It's a polymorph you're getting use on your own minion sometimes, just to turn like a token into something cool. I think, we should, at some point we'll have to talk about these, but we're going to have a lot of stuff to go over. So these aren't coming until the new expansion, right? Like this is, am I wrong? I'm out of the loop.
I think they
looked
just
at the
said
cards themselves.
They said a future patch. I don't think that they specifically gave a date or said that it was tied to the expansion. They seem to not be tying arena changes necessarily straight to, other big patches or expansions or anything like that.
Yeah, and
so
and from what I understand, it's not going to be like
soon.
forever these cards will be here. It's like another event, right? So, okay. So at some point we'll have to go over all these because they're really interesting. But I think we should, let's focus on Cobolds and Catacombs for right now. It's just too much.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, what we were talking about. So I figured throw it up there in case needed to say anything about these cards. But yeah, I think it's great. And I mean, like you said, Dill's it's not going to be here. It's not for everything. No card is guaranteed to be a here for everything, forever thing in Arena anymore. Like everything is in flux. Everything is technically on the chopping block if it proves itself to be problematic. And I'm happy with the speed, man. Like we complain so much. One of the most common things we gripe about on the show is like, man, the Team 5 seems slow. But with Arena, I think they're hitting a really good cadence of updates. I'm digging it.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, before we get into talking about the Cobolds and Catacombs cards that were revealed at BlizzCon specifically, rarity gems are going away for uncollectible cards. This came about, well, basically what happened, Mr. Ben Brode went and responded to concerns on our Hearthstone about Rend Blackhand not being able to target Marin the Fox's chest. The card, not hit the portion of his body, by the way. In case you missed Blackrock Mountain somehow, or you're just new to the game, we would like to remind you that Rend is a 7-mana 8/4 legendary that gets to destroy another target legendary if you have a dragon in your hand. So the chest is technically a legendary card, but Rend can't target it. So this was brought up on Reddit, and Brode responded by saying, quote, "We have a consistency pass on the Silver Dragon." So this is the Silver Dragon portrait that is around all legendary cards, being targetable by Rend Blackhand coming soon. The new rule is that the orange gem, what Rend currently looks for, is what he's programmed to look for, will only be on legendary collectible cards. The Silver Dragon, however, will still be on all legendary cards, collectible or not. In a future patch, they're going to update Rend to look for the Silver Dragon, not the orange gem. So when basically what happened, he continued, was saying that when Marin was built, they were already in that new rule mindset. So the chest uses the new rules that they'll be implementing across the board, but that they haven't actually changed Rend yet to function in this new rule set, and they won't until after Cobolds and Catacombs is released, and he said at the earliest, so it might even be a little bit longer beyond that. And so he said, quote, "It's a bit funky right now. Until we do, keep in mind that legendary equals orange gem in gameplay. After the change, legendary will equal Silver Dragon."
So I got some issues with this right off the bat. So on the game field, you don't see the golden dragon, right?
No, you have to
see like the circle
or the Silver Dragon.
It's a minion, right? You have to like hover over it to see.
Wait,
that.
No,
there's a dragon.
There's a Silver Dragon oval.
On legendaries, yeah.
Where do you see it?
It's the literal border.
When you play them.
When they're on the board is the Silver Dragon.
There's a little like indicator, because they always just look like little ovals to me, every minion. But, whatever. So it's just there. So as long as that indicator's there, because it's weird, because I've never noticed it on any tokens from legendary minions ever. And now all of a sudden it's on this one. So I looked into it, and none of the old tokens have this at all. Like the Golden Monkey doesn't have it, right? Golden Monkey is just a 4-mana 6/6, right? Like
yeah.
I'm thinking of like all the old legendaries that spawn something, right?
Give you something,
Boombots, they don't have it. So like Rend never killed tokens that came out of legendary minions, right? And this would be the first time that it should?
No, he did.
Is that weird to you?
No, he did, because they still had the orange gem essentially associated with them. Now, granted, you would have.
So Rend would kill Boombots? Because I don't think I ever was able to kill a Boombot with Rend.
I don't think.
Did you ever try to kill a Boombot with Rend?
No, but I mean, it's it's never, it's
no,
never really, like come up. But like, okay, like
I'm talking about
why does this one get it? I know. Okay, so I know what did. Bane had one. Bane had the orange gem.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I've killed Bane with it. Right.
Boombots didn't have
the orange gem.
Yeah, didn't have the dragon, didn't have the gem, don't have any gem actually.
Yeah.
So they're not. They're already.
But then all of a sudden now with these new ones, they're giving it to a 0/8 chest is now suddenly like a legendary minion, which seems to be like a 0/8 chest coming out of Marin. Just seems like one of the. It seems like that's like a Boombot to me.
Yeah,
right?
it's just
like
another token, or yeah.
Yeah, so it's bizarre.
Well, I
that all
wonder
of a sudden
if they're
it's
gonna
like,
change everything. I wonder if they're gonna change everything and like give Boombots the dragons. Give all token dragons.
The other one is the minion that comes out of the chest. The golden kobold does have the little dragon, right? The 3-mana 6/6.
Yeah.
But the golden monkey doesn't, right? Whelps from Onyxia, no golden dragon. Like
my point is that they've chosen in the past. I never said, and I don't think what Ben Brode is trying to say here is that all tokens that come off of legendaries are in themselves legendary. Just that some are.
I don't think that's what. I'm not saying that's what he's saying, but I'm saying if they're making these specific ones, they are a little inconsistent, right? So the golden kobold, if he is, the golden monkey should be too. I think, right? Because they both are kind of like different versions of the same thing, right? It's like you get this specific minion that does it. They're also like doing a similar thing. They turn your hand into legendaries or your deck in hand.
Yeah, I think it's because of like the chain of things that make the monkey, right? Because you put Elise down and then you get the map, and the map isn't legendary, so therefore the golden monkey isn't legendary. Whereas this comes off a legendary. It's a treasure from a legendary chest, so the legendary chain is never broken. Which is why. I think the question is, why the hell is the chest legendary? Like, why isn't it just like a minion on the other side, you know?
I'm just if the chest is legendary, I think the golden monkey should be legendary. I also think we should probably make potentially the boombots legendaries. Like, I feel like there's like some interesting things now where it brings up. And also maybe the 4-mana 7/6 dragon that you get off of Ysera. Let's call that a legendary. Like. You know what I mean? Like, not all of them. I'm not saying like a whelp should be legendary, but let's go back and let's change some of these old tokens because there's not that many of them.
Is the golden monkey like
definitely stronger than others?
Is the golden monkey like a really a good friend of yours?
I'm not saying I don't like this change. I'm just saying like let's be.
It's a little confusing.
Let's be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Gotcha. When you started off, I was just like, but yeah, whatever.
Well, no, because I looked into this because I heard about this and I was like, wait, does any of these other ones have the dragon on them? No, this is like the first time this has happened. So
well, it's not.
It's just kind of interesting.
Bane Bloodhoof is
it has the gem. Yeah.
Has the gem. So has the border also. He also has the border. So that's consistent. And I don't know. I mean, this is like two separate conversations. One is what tokens should be considered legendary tokens and what tokens shouldn't, versus just this change.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what that's my point. It's like they should be all legendary or non-legendary, or we should be very specific and start making some of the other ones legendary because these two new ones are like not super cool compared to some of the old ones we have, right? So
yeah, I'm with you on Golden Monkey. I don't think I'm with you on Boombots. I don't think Boombots should be legendary.
Well, yeah, but whatchavacallit? Now I forgot the other one I had brought up.
The Ysera Dragon.
Yeah, Golden Monkey for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Golden Monkey literally replaces your hand and deck with legendaries.
We know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Finkel Einhorn. That'd be cool if that was a legendary. There you go. Yeah. I'm with you on that one too.
All right, cool. Very cool. So anyways, also this is going to apply to other tokens in the game as well. They're going to be losing their gems. So non-collectible cards like Spirit Wolf, like Spellbender and the like, they're not going to have their rarity gems anymore as well because you cannot collect these cards. So a step towards some consistency, just not all the consistency that it sounds like you want, Dills.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the consistent. Like, I like that because now they all look like essentially basic cards, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if we're gonna make any of those tokens legendary, let's get the right ones.
Yeah, it makes me think of like all the way back to Discover. Like I was like, can I discover a Spirit Wolf?
Sure, right?
And I probably wouldn't have had that question.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense too, because then you're taking these out of all those kind of weird things as time goes forward. So if that's how they're recoding things, that's a huge help to them, I'm sure too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that is a question I had when Discover was announced. Now, of course, I know you can't.
Obviously, yeah.
Collectible cards only. But now there's going to be one more distinction between collectible and non-collectible cards, and I like that. So, well, before we move into Cobolds and Catacombs and talk about the 14 cards that have already been revealed, and there's actually even more within that because of things like Upgrade and Insane Legendaries, we have another sponsor on this episode to thank, HelloFresh.com, sponsoring this episode of The Angry Chicken. I would recommend going and checking them out. If you use the code TAC30 when you subscribe, you'll get $30 off your first week of deliveries. But we're all big fans. Again, as I've mentioned before, I credit them for keeping me alive and healthier than I would be otherwise. I get to choose what day the delivery shows up on my door, so it's not sitting out there in the Florida heat any longer than it needs to be. And even if it was, it's in a nice insulated, cooled box, and I have taken way too long to get to it before, and my food, like as if it was in a magical cooler of some sort, is not spoiled. I'm a big fan of it. So go and check them out. No matter how you prefer to eat, there's a wide variety of chef curated recipes, and there's also 3 plans to choose from. My wife and I do the classic because we are carnivores. There's the veggie for all of the kids I graduated art school with, and the family plan, which gives you quick and easy meals for the whole family. So check them out. Also, I didn't know that. I sometimes learn things about our sponsors when I go through like the talking points they send us. So normally the meals take 30 minutes to prepare, and that's great. It's pretty easy for me to carve out 30 minutes, but there's an option, for a 20-minute meal on the classic menu each week. And I've started doing that, and that's awesome. So I've very much taken a liking to HelloFresh, and we like that they have taken a liking to our show. And we very much appreciate all of our listeners using the code TAC30 to not only get $30 off your first week of deliveries over at HelloFresh.com, but support the Angry Chicken while you're doing it. So go check them out. Now, I have not set myself up a card talk bumper for Cobolds and Catacombs, so I will just give you a broad laugh. There it is. I need to I think I'm gonna go grab a sound clip of left on your right, that type of stuff. I think that's what I want to use for the next few weeks.
I like it.
Yeah. So, anyways, if you want to follow along at home and you're not watching the video version, I am using the Hearthpone Cobolds and Catacombs guide to go through this because I'm getting real tired of making custom card art. So I'm just gonna do a screen cap. Which means we're starting with Druid, guys, and the Lesser Jasper Spellstone. It's a 1-mana rare Druid spell that reads, deal 1 damage to a minion, gain 3 armor to upgrade. And you might be thinking to yourself, gain 3 armor to cast a warrior spell and get a weapon or upgrade my weapon? No, that's not what upgrade means. It's a new mechanic coming in KNC is what I am choosing to shorten Cobolds and Catacombs to. But once you gain 3 armor as a druid, it will upgrade itself to just the Jasper Spellstone, gone as the lesser moniker, and it deals 4 damage to a minion and still only costs you 1 mana. But it can upgrade 1 more time if you gain 3 more armor after that to what I'm calling these Spellstone cards' final form. The Greater Jasper Spellstone, which deals 6 damage to a minion for 1 mana, but you're going to have to gain 6 armor over the course of the game to unlock that potential.
Now you have to do this while the card's in your hand too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I like the concept of upgrading, though. I think this is really cool to see something change in your hand as you do a thing in the game.
This almost could have been
Added
evolved.
level of flexibility.
Like if they tied evolve to this, I would have been like, sure, my card's evolving. Like, I wonder if this was a pitch for Evolve before they landed on the Discover-esque
well, they
version
probably
we
don't
got.
want to mix up terms. I think upgrade is the proper term, right? Because then
And
people might get a little
because if you said
confused.
deal
it's going
2
to turn
damage
into
to
a
a minion
2-mana
and then
card in my
evolve,
hand.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this is a super cool concept. It's kind of like counters in Magic, and I think we've talked about this in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's cards in Magic. Most of the time, what you have to do in Magic, though, is like put some sort of permanent on the board, like whether it's an artifact or something, and then doing a certain thing adds counters to it, and then you can then take the counters off to do something more powerful with the card, right? And it's kind of like that. It's a Hearthstone version of that. I'm glad that they made this minion only because holy crap, we don't need to give druids some face damage. They're doing fine. We don't need to give them 1 mana deal 6 if they gain some armor. Also, this to me feels like they're pretty good at gaining armor right now. Druids are, right? You got the Malfurion, obviously, and then you've got Earthen Scales, and you've got other ways to gain armor now. So it feels like this is the right because it's a control, like it's doing a control thing, like gaining life to then do a control thing better, kill a minion. It actually fits. Like I don't like it when they give hunters weird things like deal 3 damage to a minion and the face, and you're like, what? Control thing but face thing at the same. Like this is very consistent to me, and I like it a lot. So this is a great, really cool card. I think it'll definitely see a lot of play if there's like a big druid needs a little more removal. Removal's always been a problem for them. There you go.
I dig it as well. It's kind of also kind of feel bad protection. I feel like because there are cards, there's removal in this game where you're just like, oh, it's later in the game now, and this it doesn't do. It's never going to get any value. Like 2 damage on turn 9 isn't going to get much done. But if this is just chilling in
turn
your
that
hand,
suddenly into 6 damage, and
Right.
now you've got something.
well,
yeah, exactly. It's an early game card.
And you could Earthen
that turns into a
Scales
late
and
game
Feral
card.
Rage or something that then all of a sudden this 1 mana spell you top decked is going to do 6 damage. So you can still do all the armor gain things you have to and have enough mana left to actually cast the spell. So
yeah.
And Feral Rage is still a card, right? It's not
Yep.
seeing much play, so
and actually
maybe now
we should
you've got a reason to play it again.
Yeah, and we actually should clarify that it's like if you have to gain 3 or more armor to upgrade. So if you do Feral Rage, it doesn't count as the 6, right? So you have to
I think you have to do
gain
it twice,
3
right? 'Cause
armor, it'll
the
upgrade,
first.
and then gain 3 more armor. So Feral Rage won't cause it to upgrade twice.
Yeah, but you can upgrade twice in the same turn. They already said.
Yes,
If
you can. Yeah.
Go to Feral Rage and then armor up for 3.
Yeah.
We got to look at a couple hunter cards at BlizzCon. The first one was Crushing Walls. This is a 7-mana epic hunter spell that reads, destroy your opponent's left and rightmost minions.
So this one I'm cautiously optimistic about. I've seen a lot of people say that it's really, really bad. But what I like about it is that it's playing with positioning. And so I'm wondering if there's some sort of control hunter-ish deck that can make use of this and then exploding shot and stuff where it's you can kind of punish your opponent regardless of what their positioning is. So they position for crushing walls and then you exploding shot, or they position for exploding shot and you crushing walls, or punish them in multiple ways
from
depending on
shot.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
true. So that makes it interesting. I do
it's
look at
interesting.
it, and it depends on what the meta is going to be, because
Yeah.
if the meta is really fast, this is going to be terrible. But if people are playing, Yashiraj, and then you kill Yashiraj and the Lich King that came out of the Yashiraj with 7 mana, then you did all right. So
Yeah.
it's just it's got to be. This is very meta dependent. So
Yeah.
and there's a couple of cards though that I feel like could make the meta speed up or slow down. So we're gonna have to see which one of those becomes the most powerful option. And obviously there's too many cards left to really know. But this could actually be really good if the meta is really, really slow. But man, I don't know.
I think it's interesting. I think it has potential.
Yeah, it also could be a decent arena card, because in the late game, killing 2 giant minions is pretty strong.
I find Crushing Walls more interesting than I do potentially playable. Is where I stand. I love this
I'm
idea
just so hopeful.
of positional based removal, which hunters are no stranger to. We've already talked about exploding shot and the fact that Crushing Walls is the opposite. But 7 mana is a lot. That is
It is a
of
lot,
mana
but think
for
about
hunter.
things like Medivh and stuff. If you're playing a control-y thing and you actually want expensive spells, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to be killing stuff and summoning a 7-drop. So, depending, it's like I said, this is very meta dependent, but killing 2 huge minions for 7 mana is really good if you can do it. It's just we need a
and if
meta where 2
everyone's
huge
gonna be-
minions tend to be on the board.
Yeah, and
Yes.
especially if recruit is going to be really pervasive through this whole entire set, then there's a very good chance that people are going to have almost more minions than they should. So you might get a lot more value out of this card than you would in the current meta. Right now, Big Priest is a thing, but what if Big Everybody becomes a thing? Then Crushing Walls could be really good if you're constantly killing big minions out before they should be.
Well,
It could
are
be great.
you at 7 mana? I think you're killing them after they should be if they were not cheating mana in some fashion.
Well, the big things usually are 9 and 10 mana cards, right?
Right, but if
Yeah.
you're doing Big Priest, you're cheating the system by bringing out a 1/1, resurrecting it as a full statted thing. Recruit, you're hoping to, again, cheat the system, at least with the Warrior card that we'll talk about in a bit because it doesn't have a range on it.
By the way, people in chat are asking the same question we were talking about before the show, which is, can it kill 1 minion? And if I just read this card, I would say yes. But
Do your little dance showing how you're on the left and right side, Bill.
yeah, I'm on the left. I'm also on the right. That's me.
There you
It's just
go.
me. So, obviously you could read it. If there's 2, it'll obviously kill both minions. But if there's 1, it's technically the way it's written, it doesn't say 2 minions. It doesn't say anything that forces it to be 2 minions.
Right. Versus
1 minion
you
can be the
mentioned
leftmost
multi-shot,
minion and the rightmost minion.
Mhm.
technically. But again, it's how Blizzard doesn't always work things the way that you would read them. So it may not light up unless there's 2 minions. I would not be surprised.
I put out a couple feelers, messages, questions to Team 5 members. I have not heard back, so I don't know for sure. But I'm with you. The way it reads, I would think, yes, you can cast it on a single minion because it doesn't specify the number of minions, just the position.
Because like cleave, multi-shot, they all say 2 on
2
them.
specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
exactly. So more on that later.
If I were to crush minions with crushing walls, and there was only 1 minion there, I would kill it. Right?
True.
If I were to have just thrown Han Solo into that trash compactor, I would have just killed Han Solo. With the fact that Chewbacca went to one side and Luke went to the other, I killed Luke and Chewbacca. See what I'm saying?
We're all back. There's Star Wars references being thrown around by someone other than myself. It feels good to be home.
It's clearly a Star Wars reference, though, right?
Oh, 110%.
With holding the stick and everything.
Yeah. Oh, the art. Yeah. And it's also, it's just traps in general. Like it was the whole it's D&D, but we can't say D&D on stage.
Yeah. It's Hunter setting a trap.
Exactly. So, the other Hunter card we got to take a look at was Wandering Monster, which is a 2-mana rare Hunter spell. It's a secret that reads, when an enemy attacks your hero, summon a 3-cost minion as the new target.
Do you guys play Munchkin?
No.
I have, but I don't play.
Because, Wandering Monster is a card in Munchkin.
Oh, okay. Does it do something similar to this?
Yeah, it basically brings another monster into the fight. Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's probably not a good card, but I don't know. I feel like it's better than the Bear Trap because the Bear Trap, you still took the face damage. Then you just got a 3/3 bear. So here, at least, you may
don't take
kill
the
minion. You may even kill the minion and keep your minion around. There's all sorts of things that could happen. And there's a 3-mana poisonous snake that would just kill anything if it pops up. So the fact that it actually takes the damage is kind of a big deal.
Interesting point in the chat room, too. What happens if you summon a stealth minion?
Well, they fight. It doesn't matter if it's stealth or not. They're going to fight. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're going to fight.
Again,
they're going to fight, yeah.
Yeah, again, the way that this is worded, it would
like you can target something that's stealth if you target it randomly, and this is essentially like doing that, right? So
that's a good point.
If you got a Wicker Flame Burn Bristle, if you got there's actually some pretty decent 3-mana cards out there that would be pretty strong here. So
yeah, Solitaire in chat rooms yelling injured Blade Master, profit.
Yeah. Now that being said, is it still like a good enough trap? Like right now, traps aren't even really seeing play.
No, that's true.
In Hunter. So is it a good enough trap to somehow make Cloaked Huntress a thing again and make Trap Hunter a thing again? I don't know.
I think it could be. I think it's decent. I want to play with it, I think, to actually see. But I think 3 cost is good. They could have gone 2 cost, and that would have been really crappy. So
it would have been terrible because you're paying 2 for a 2 cost, right?
Yeah.
If you're paying 2 for a 3 cost, that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I immediately look at this and it just seems like a fun card to me. I really enjoy Hunter Secret Cloaked Huntress decks, but not as like, I'm going to go try hard on the ladder. I do it for fun. So I'm saying I
would actually like to see this card just say when an enemy attacks, because the whole attacks your hero thing, I don't understand why it has to be that. Is it OP if it's just when a minion attacks? If it works kind of like Ice Trap, but or Freezing Trap, but instead of sending the minion back, it just causes combat to happen in a different way. Would that be OP? I think that would make it just a good card. And now it's kind of like a tweener card where I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would be really good.
It would be. I think it would be amazing if it, didn't matter where the attack went. But I think, that might have been a little bit too powerful for 2 mana and a secret.
Yeah. No, so Ananitas, technically, so you can't target it, but since the targeting happened, well, whatever. All right, it's not working.
We'll roll back around to this in the after show.
Sure.
Yes.
If you're still here, Ananitas. All right, moving on to Mage, and we get to talk about our first hero-specific legendary weapons. So this is we're still living in the land of 2 class-specific legendaries. per expansion this year. And besides minions, every class is getting a legendary weapon this time around, even classes that have never had weapons before. So mages are getting Aluneth, which is a 6 mana 0/3 legendary weapon that reads, at the end of your turn, draw 3 cards.
And interestingly, this is actually the arcane mage artifact weapon in World of Warcraft currently in the current expansion. So,
and Jocelyn tried to give something away after our live BlizzCon episode, and no one knew the answer.
No one knew that.
She's like, "Hey, what's the artifact weapon for mages and Burr?" And you're like, "It's also a card that just got announced. It's this specific spec," and everyone's just like,
no one knew.
I can't play this card yet.
I tried so hard. I thought it was super easy.
Yeah, I didn't know the damn answer to that thing, and I consider myself a Warcraft lore nerd.
So these cards are interesting that they're 0/3s.
They also
so far we've seen 2 of them, and they're both 0/3 minions or weapons, but they're also both for kind of non-weapony classes. I'd be surprised if like the paladin and warrior and rogue ones are 0/3 can't attack style weapons, but
yeah,
it might just be the way they're going with all of them. We'll find out. But it's an interesting like they made it a 0/3, so you can't just kill it with the pirate or something like that, right? Like it has to be an Ooze or a Harrison Jones.
Yeah.
Now Harrison Jones, you play this, you draw 3, then they play Harrison, they draw 3. That's kind of interesting as well. But I was thinking about this card, like you might need to play Medivh in this deck to overwrite it at some point, or else you'll draw too many cards, right?
Right, because even like it says at the end of your turn, draw 3 cards, but that doesn't actually cause the weapon to lose any durability. It's the same with the priest weapon. When you summon the 5/5s, it doesn't lose durability, so it just is there.
It's just there, yeah.
It's just there. It never goes away, which means like on turn 6, you've got like 4 or 5 turns until you fatigue yourself, basically, because you're going to draw 15 cards over 3 turns.
Now that being said, though,
5 turns.
Mage is definitely the class that could take advantage of this, because they can ice block and stuff, and then they can just start burning your face, right? And they'll just stop caring about anything. But I'm drawing 3 burn spells a turn, and I'm throwing them all at you, and that's I think going to make some sort of a burn style mage really, really powerful again. Not that it wasn't powerful now, but
Yeah, chat room saying warlocks, mages, and priests have 0 attack weapons, but the other classes are
going to have regular style weapons.
With attack. Yeah,
that makes sense.
I wasn't aware that was confirmed, but that was my assumption that spellcasters did not have attack values on their weapons,
which makes sense.
And
by the way, 6 mana to draw 3 isn't that bad. Even if like the weapon gets destroyed the very next turn, like to draw 3 is supposed to be about 5 mana, right?
Yeah.
So to pay 1 extra for the ability to then do it again and again and again is pretty friggin' good.
By the way, I'm calling it now.
Like I was thinking, Flawless Tome, that's random spells, right? So this is like 3 cards from your deck, so that's automatically worth more. Sorry, Garrett.
It's good. I was making a joke. I was saying I'm calling it now. The paladin weapon is going to be an Ashbringer with a death rattle that summons a Tyrion.
Oh, God.
But the Tyrion won't have a death rattle. It's going to be a backwards Tyrion.
Okay.
Yep. We'll talk about the priest weapon in just a minute, because paladin's up next. Pretty straightforward. We got a peek at Dry Gulch Jailer. This is a 2 mana 1/1 common minion for paladins with a death rattle that reads, add 3 Silverhand recruits to your hand.
More dudes.
It's like boring compared to a lot of the other stuff they showed us. I don't care. It's more Silverhand recruits. I'm gonna try and play this.
I think it's the first Kobold they showed too, right?
Yes, it is not it is not a card type.
Right. Yeah, we didn't get a tribe, which
there's no tribe on it. Yeah.
Given that that's what the expansion is. Like we had goblins versus gnomes, gave us mechs, right? Like I don't know. I feel like this should be Cobolds.
I think it would be okay if they gave them tribes, even if there were no tribe synergies. But I would assume that they just don't want to overcomplicate things. That if they have no intention of putting tribe synergy in with an expansion, that they're just like, well, we're just not going to put a tribe moniker.
Yeah.
So think about in Magic, like oftentimes you don't even pay attention to the fact that it's a human cleric or whatever until you then start to try to build some sort of a human deck. or some sort of cleric deck or whatever. Like it's just kind of there. It's just like another piece of flavor text, right? Like I think most players would just kind of ignore it most of the times. I don't know. I wouldn't mind if they just gave everything some sort of tribe and then just didn't always use it, you know?
Yeah, I
kind of like it.
I
kind of knowing like what kind of monster it
yeah,
is, right?
I'm just ever so slightly in your camp. I'm pretty indifferent, I think, is where I fall.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think it would overcomplicate things for new players, but I also think it's something that they don't have to do. They don't have to.
Right. It's not.
I wouldn't mind
If they're not doing anything with it, and not having it on
Yeah.
there isn't hurting anything.
Yeah.
So
This card seems pretty bad. You can play with a hand buff paladin, I guess, and because putting
Hand buff
three.
or dude in wild.
But even then, I think I have enough ways to make dudes that this isn't going to make the cut.
More
In
dudes,
wild too,
Dills,
there's
more
so many
dudes.
more powerful cards. I don't know. I think it's a card that might see play in very specific style standard decks. But yeah, I think in wild, I mean, I'm going to play this over a 2/2 with divine shields. Like, nah, probably not. If I want to make 3 1/1s, I do it with muster for battle, and I get a weapon.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
So. Plus, it's a death rattle. It has to die first before I can even get the damn things. I have to pay 2 mana 1/1, then have that happen. It seems like hand buff is the place where this goes now, but we haven't seen the rest of the stuff yet. So
yeah,
right now, I feel like it's a pretty weak card.
I like it in arena personally too. Just give me more guys. I'm fine with it. More things to throw on board. Let's move and talk about priest. This is the other legendary weapon that we'll get to talk about today because it's the only other one that was revealed. Dragon Soul, which is a 3 mana 0/3 legendary priest weapon that reads, after you cast 3 spells in a turn, summon a 5/5 dragon.
Seems just strong in what priest is already doing right now, which is just play Highlander priest, put a bunch of cheap spells in your deck, and then use them to machine gun down your opponent. Now, while you're also doing that, you're also making 5/5s.
The don't
All
die
right.
to dragonfire potion,
Yeah, exactly.
which is your
Like,
big
it just seems
removal.
good.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
I
give
didn't
me-
even think
give me
about
some
that.
extra 5/5s while I'm already doing the thing I'm doing. I don't think you even need to play this in a Dragon Priest. You play it in the Highlander current Priest, right? So yeah, it seems really good.
Yeah, this is the first card I'm like, this came out today. Yeah, this is just going in decks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's going in like
I mean, you have to have enough like cheap spells in the deck to do it. So, but Priest has a bunch of them. They have a lot of cheap spells right now. So
Well, yeah, and it's 3 spells specifically. It's not 3 cards. So in
Yeah.
Dragon Priest, you're playing with a whole lot of minions. Like the Highlander Priest
Yeah.
that you're talking about, Dills, is the one that has the spells specifically. So I think it's probably going to get slotted into that deck as
yeah,
opposed
Dragon
to
Priest is
Dragon
gonna be
Priest.
playing 1 card a turn most of the time.
Right,
So-
exactly, because they want to be, on curve, getting their dragon synergies off and getting more than they're supposed to for their mana. So I don't know if Dragon Soul necessarily fits into that deck model. Even though it makes a dragon, I don't think it fits there.
So imagine getting this online, then doing like a Lyra turn,
Crazy
with-
turn. Yeah.
with the elemental on board and stuff,
Yeah.
and just making like 3 dragons in one tournament. I've seen Priest do 5 or 6 spells in a row pretty easily
Yeah.
once they get the radiant elemental on the board. So yeah, when that happens, I mean, not only are you just cycling through your deck and making more spells at random, you're also repeatedly shooting somebody and making 5/5 dragons. It's like, holy
Yeah.
crap, it's gonna be.
I mean, that's the perfect scenario. But yeah.
Yeah.
I like this too for those non-perfect scenarios where maybe you haven't discounted your hero power yet, or you haven't turned it into a damaging hero power. This still is like, well, I've got all these spells and I don't want to use them because I don't have my upgraded hero power. At least now Dragon Soul gives you another way to kind of get there.
Yeah. Because they needed another win condition.
Yeah,
Need
absolutely.
one more way to get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said I like the concept, not necessarily that I like the outcome. But by the way, overheard at BlizzCon, some developers talking, and their internal stats show Big Priest with a significantly higher win rate than Highlander Priest. To which,
Yeah, we were going to talk
Across-
about Highlander Priest today, but it feels so bad to lose to.
See, now their stats though are like across all of the ranks and stuff, right? So I don't know. I would need to hear about how it works out at Legend.
I would just like to have access to their internal stats in general.
That'd
Any
be nice.
stat.
or monthly reports, like, hey, everybody, here's our top 10. Here's what's going on. Here's the top 10 broken down by rank. Maybe not every rank, but here's, legend. Here's 1 to 5. Here's 5 to 15.
Everybody else.
Yeah. Take a look. Enjoy. Take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow Hearthstone Edition. The other priest card we have to talk about today, Unidentified Elixir. So we already talked about one of the elixirs. This is the Priest Elixir. So it's a 3-mana common priest spell that reads, give a minion... Oh, no, we didn't talk about an elixir already. We talked about the upgrade.
Well, they said there's going to be unidentified items. So there's an elixir, a weapon, and something else. Yes.
I kept, for whatever reason, getting this mixed up with upgrade because it's another new type of mechanic. So anyway, Unidentified Elixir, 3-mana, priest spell, give a minion +2/+2, but it gains a bonus effect in your hand, and there are 4 potential bonus effect tokens that it can turn into. The first, which is Elixir of Hope. So all of these are 3 mana. All of them give a minion +2/+2. What's unique is the additional effect. So Elixir of Hope, the additional effect is give that minion Death Rattle and return this minion to your hand. Elixir of Life gives that minion Lifesteal in addition to the 2/2. Elixir of Purity gives that minion Divine Shield in addition to the 2/2. And Elixir of Shadows summons a 1/1 copy of that minion that you just buffed.
Very cool. And they showed this at BlizzCon, and basically what happens is you put it into your deck, and it just has the normal card text that says gain a bonus effect, and then you find out what the bonus effect is when it's actually drawn into your hand. So it'll come out of your deck, it'll pop up, and then it'll do a little like Bernie effect-y sort of thing and show you what the secondary effect of your elixir is going to be. So
and then that's permanent at that point.
And then
right?
that's permanent. Yes, that is what the card is. Yeah.
Yep. It would be kind of interesting if you could just hold on to it and it would continue to change.
Like
I think this card is possibly terrible, but if it could continue to change, it might actually be super cool. Still, though, it's a cheap spell in Priest, so
you're gonna get it off
well with Dragon Soul, right?
Yeah. What happens when if this pops off Lyra?
Well, it would
Lyra.
go into your hand, right? So it would gain an effect right at that moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
I just don't know how the animation would work. Well, the animation that they showed was it coming out of the deck and stopping like right above the deck. So maybe when it pops off Lyra, like on its path to your hand, it does the animation.
It literally just says in your hand. So it doesn't matter how it gets into your hand.
Yeah.
Whether you draw it or it's in your opening hand or not. Just once it's in your hand, it's going to gain an effect, right?
Right.
So
gotcha. Okay. That would make sense. Because also
one
like
of the other cards.
Like if it's just in the mulligan, like you don't really see the draw animation. Unless it's on this.
Yeah, if it said like when this is drawn, gain a bonus effect, that would change things. But
yeah,
all it has to do is just fill the.
Just be in the hands.
Just be in the hand, then it activates its ability.
Yeah. Another really.
But
cool,
yeah, like the problem with it is that there's going to be some decks that are going to maybe benefit a lot, but off of this, like summon a 1/1 copy of this minion, things like that. But some won't, and so it's just not like a card that you can rely on, and a card you can't rely on usually doesn't end up making it into constructed decks. Also, 3 mana +2/+2 is really not very good. So the extra effect has to be positive for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Oh, and this is another one where I really like the concept of the card. I'm not as sold about as to the playability of it, but we live in a different Hearthstone world than we did when it started. There's a lot of ways to get random cards now, so even if this is like a card I'll never include in my deck, this is going to eventually affect my game.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And I think you'll pick this quite a bit in Arena because just buff cards are pretty decent there. I mean,
yep.
They get a lot more value there because you tend to have minions live for a turn and actually get to attack and do stuff. So I think you'll definitely see this get a lot of play in Arena.
I agree. On to Rogue, where we only saw one card, a Kobold Illusionist to be specific. It's a 4-mana 3/3 common rogue minion with a death rattle on it that reads, summon a 1/1 copy of a minion from your hand. So we have no idea what the theme for Rogue is, this expansion, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is maybe a cool way to do Malagos Rogue. It's like you can just wait till you have Malagos in your hand and then here you go, 4 mana, I get the Malagos effect, and then I can start eviscerating and Sinister Striking your face, right? So that's an interesting thing. If you only ran this minion and maybe Auctioneer and Malagos, that would be maybe a cool way to like just get an OTK going. So there's something there. It's just, is that something very good?
Is that something consistent? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, can you...
Yeah. Is it better than just playing Tempo Rogue with Keliseth, right?
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, but I'm glad that we're looking specifically like at the Hearthstone guide, because I'm just looking at all this other potential, all these other unknowns, these unflipped cards, and I'm just like, yeah, Cobalt Allegiance. All right, it's a card. We'll have to see. Like in a vacuum, not that interesting.
Yeah. The problem though with that whole aspect is that it's not a battle cry; it's a death rattle, right? So. Your opponent can just kill a 3/3, and then Malagos came out. Okay, well it's a 1/1. I'll just kill that too. It won't be that hard for them to do. So if you could get it on board, and then kill it yourself, and then it just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah,
Doesn't it?
it's a lot of combo potential pieces that would be required to make this work real well.
And yes,
Yeah,
in the background, we're all sitting here just getting ready for this to be the most broken card of the next expansion, where we have to come back to
Right.
this
I know,
episode
right?
and be
We
like,
just
how
couldn't even
wrong
see it.
were we? But yeah, again, when you only show 14 cards, there's only so much we can kind of surmise, and in a vacuum, meh.
Yeah, but it does have it does have some interesting potential. I see potential here. I just need to know more, and then maybe we can really figure it out. Yeah, someone in chat, Jim Clemore just said backstab would be good, but you need to have spell power on your backstab before you can kill it. So yeah,
If only you could like attack your own minions with your dagger, that would be your last piece of damage.
it was a 3-mana 2/2 instead of a 4-mana 3/3.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. In a death rattle heavy thing, like if you were pulling like the Jade, what's the little Jade stealthy bro? Like if you were pulling those guys out and
Swarmer?
stuff. Yeah, Jade Swarmer. Yeah.
How did
maybe
you
there's something
get
there,
that out of
you know?
Little Jade Stormy Bro?
Yeah, little Jade. Yeah, little Jade stealthy bro.
Oh, stealthy
I
bro.
knew.
Yeah.
Little Jade
You know
Stealthy
exactly
Bro.
what I was talking about.
Yeah, I got you, Dill.
Yeah, well, cool. Let's talk about the only shaman card we got to look at, which is another Spellstone. This one is the Lesser Sapphire Spellstone. It's a 7-mana rare shaman spell that reads: summon 1 copy of a friendly minion, overload 3 mana crystals to upgrade. And in case you're wondering what it upgrades to, it's actually it's pretty easy to remember. If you upgrade it once, it summons 2 copies of a friendly minion, and if you upgrade it a second time, it summons 3 copies of a friendly minion. So if it's in your hand and you've overloaded 6 mana crystals, you've got a 7 mana annoy your opponent.
Well, yeah.
They
the
showed
thing
this
is,
off, and it looks crazy.
So okay, there's already like a cool combo with this though, right? Which is the Storm Fury Giant. So you play like an overload deck, and then you make your Storm Fury Giants cost 0, and then you play a 0-cost Storm Fury Giant, and then you play 3 more, right? For 7 mana. So for 7 mana, you play 4 8/8s. Pretty cool, but it takes a while to get. Or Snow Fury, Storm Fury, Snow Fury. You know what I'm talking about. But the problem is, since it costs 7, if you're trying to play something super awesome like a Lich King or, a Ysera or something that has to live a turn, then you got to do it the next turn because you can't play both in the same turn because it costs 7. So.
What if you had like an overload, evolve, devolve shaman deck? So like turn 6, you play all of your doppelgangsters, you evolve them, you get super cool minions. Then turn 7, because you've overloaded through the course of the game, turn 7, you do this on whatever the best
On the
evolve
coolest
6
minion?
drop. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it.
There's also like Ancestral Spirit, and there's the if you could put the buffs on the minions, like that pretty much kind of guarantees them to live. And then when they live, and if it lives with the spirit on it, you can get 3 copies of it with the spirit on it. Oh my god! And obviously wild, you can make cards cheaper or spells cheaper and stuff, so you can do more cool combos. But yeah, you're gonna have to play some sort of a super control-y style shaman. Like the Crusher style shaman or whatever, where that overloads a bunch, plays probably Volcano and things like that, and then finally you get this thing to do the 7, and then you set off those combos. So there's definitely some very powerful stuff that can happen here, but it's very slow. So the meta has to be slow enough that you can actually get there, right?
And
Yeah.
this is going to have to be in your hand.
feel like-
So if you're like, I'm going to start overloading right off the bat, it's like, well, you're going to do it with a 7-mana card that ain't going to do jack in your hand for the rest of the game. Well, until
Yeah,
turn
you kind of
7.
have a dead card for a while, right?
Yeah.
That's, I think, the biggest drawback of this card. But
But
Probably,
it could
yeah.
be great.
does not mean I don't think it's cool, Jocelyn. I think this is a really cool card.
I
It's
feel like
definitely
I get really, really excited about all of the like high cost, super control-y cards every expansion, and then the meta never lets me use them.
Well, the
because
thing
that's
is,
usually
though,
true.
There's very cool. I don't know. These cards that are that powerful when they actually like summon 3 copies of something could be something that costs you 10 or 8 or 9 or whatever. It better be hard to pull off, right? Or
Yeah.
else it's just OP as hell. So I think it's costed properly. I think what it does is super awesome. But yeah, generally the way Hearthstone has gone, the meta will never be slow enough for this to be good. And this will be like a terrible arena card because I got to draft a bunch of overload cards, and I don't even know if that's going to happen. And
And even if you get the
Yeah.
overload cards, are you going to get this in your hand when you're actually overloading? If you do, it's going to be
Yeah.
in your hand too early, and then the
am I gonna
vicious
have awesome
cycle
minions
repeats
to copy?
itself.
You know?
Yeah.
Guys,
Good
you're
question.
killing my buzz.
I think it's cool. I also
Look, I'm
think
going to
it's
meme like crazy with this card at some point.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That is going to happen.
yeah. I'm going to have fun with this card. I don't
Just
think I'm going to win a bunch of games with
remember-
this card.
They showed off patches at BlizzCon, and everyone was like, ha ha ha, the memes, and then patches was super OP, so maybe...
No, I turned to Noxious, and I immediately was like, no, you just play this in Pirate Warrior.
I'm about to say, Jocelyn, this is not a card that we can use on turn 1. This does not have that type of effect.
You guys are no fun.
Yeah, I know. You get in the spirit of let's just crap on this card because it's fun. Yeah. Meh. All right, next card we're going to talk about is the only non-legendary weapon besides the one we all got, Marin the Fox. We'll talk about him in a second. But the class-specific legendary minion that we're going to talk about today, Rin, the First Disciple, which is a 6-mana, 3/6 legendary warlock minion with taunt, and it also reads Death Rattle. Add the first seal to your hand. There's a lot of these cards. I'm not going to read them all. Here's what you need to know. There are 5 seals
5.
in total. All of them cost you 5 mana. The first seal, which is one that Rin kicks off, once you spend that 5 mana, it's going to give you a 2/2 demon and add the second seal to your hand. Every seal from there on out summons a demon with 1/1 more power and adds the next seal to it. Where it gets interesting is with the 5th and final seal, which is called the Final Seal, which for 5 mana will summon you a 6/6 demon, but more importantly, will add Azari the Devourer to your hand. And if you missed this at BlizzCon, Azari the Devourer is a 10 mana, 10/10 demon with a battle cry that reads, destroy your opponent's deck.
It's crazy.
I wish it was better. I wish these cost 4 or something.
I wish I had
5
any
is
hope.
a lot.
Yeah.
I wish I had any hope of ever actually getting this to work.
Dude, I'm going to try. I am going to try super hard. I bet, too, that if you have a golden version of this, that the animations are insane on all these seals. The Fell Hunters that come out all get progressively scarier looking. It's just everything about this card. I'm like, you put all this work into a card that no one's going to play. Because, again, the meta is just never going to be this slow. Now,
Yeah,
that
you
being
have to pay
said,
a lot. So you pay 25 mana for the 5 seals, right? Plus 6 for her is 31, plus 10 for the Devourer himself. So that's what, 41 mana altogether in order to
but
make
then
this
you
happen.
win.
But then, yeah, then you just win, basically.
Now, yeah, Hachikumo has a very important question in the chat: is do you really want this card to be in the meta? I mean, yeah, but I want it to still kind of suck, but not suck this bad. I think right now it's just
I am personally still burned after the Warlock quest, so if you're gonna give someone a meme as hell legendary, don't give it to Warlocks.
yeah. So you have to play Super Control, right? And then yeah, and then you can't spend
You
the mana on
basically-
those control tools because you're spending 5 mana just to continue to like get closer to this thing.
Exactly. So you basically are setting yourself back. It might as well say like destroy 5 mana crystals, because every turn, like turn 7, you have to play the first seal, and then turn 8 you have to play the second. So you're going like 2 mana, 3 mana available to actually do things that late in the game.
I mean, you don't.
I mean, you don't have
but
to. You're
to.
not getting closer to anything.
Well,
if you
yes,
don't.
yes,
But
exactly.
you also don't have to play Rin, and I don't think a lot of us
That's true.
are.
You do not
If-
have to do that as well.
Her work, like how
Yeah.
potentially she could work.
Yeah, again, it all comes down to if winning is your goal, which for many of us is. But yeah, I think it's, again,
Rin's probably not your card.
this is nuts, man. It's totally nuts, and I don't see a universe unless the rest of these cards that are not flipped over somehow all synergize into Rin the First Disciple.
Although, if you play these with Blood Reaver Gul'dan, you are going to get the 2/2, the 3/3, the 4. Like, all the Fell Hunters are going to come back when you pop down your Death Knight. So
Yeah, but you're going to have to wait to cast Blood Reaver Gul'dan because you're still going to be spending 5 mana long past the point where you can actually play him. And
then-
before
and then-
just
you would
saying, at least they're demons. At least they're demons.
Okay.
And if you got there, are you spending 10 mana on Gul'dan, or are you going to play spend 10 mana on Azari the Devourer? Like,
I need to come up with shorthand with, yes, Jocelyn, that's cool, but I'm going to bring up counterpoints just to stem the flow of comments and emails.
Now-
Because I'm not trying to rain on your parade, because that is all, are all very cool points to make, and I do think Rin is a cool card.
now my
What
question
about,
though
like, a
is,
wild Reno deck, and then using your health to cast your spells? Like, was it Cho'Gall that did that? Maybe it can
so
work. guys.
Cho'Gall and Blood Bloom and spend
Yeah,
like all
you
your
can, like,
life,
spend all your
casting
life.
seals.
Reno back.
Okay,
Destroy
all right.
your opponent's deck.
So you're
That's
sapping,
totally reliable.
you're sapping
So,
10
all right.
life to play a
I have a
2/2 and a
question, though.
3/3.
Okay, smarty pants.
Can Cabal Trafficker discover or pull an Azari the Devourer directly into your hand without doing all this stuff? Because
I
it
don't
says
think
put a
so.
random demon into your hand. Can
Well-
a Kazakus, like, it doesn't have to be a discoverable demon. That's the
Well, yeah,
question.
because he's a token, right?
Yeah. So he's not discoverable, right?
collectible,
So he
he's
won't
not
happen.
discoverable.
Thank
No.
God. Okay.
Correct. Yeah,
Please don't let that ever
110,
happen, Blizzard.
110% not discoverable. Not happening. That's never gonna happen. You can go to sleep easy tonight, Dills. You don't need to wake up in a cold sweat like, my deck. So.
Although, yeah, like, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do this, but not gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do it if I open.
Just one time. I just want to do it one time.
If I get Rin, I'm gonna try and do this. I am not crafting Rin. Unless something insane happens and we're really wrong about this card too. Warrior.
Probably absolutely craft right.
We have one warrior card to talk about. It's called Gather Your Party. It's a 6-mana rare warrior spell that reads Recruit a Minion. And we've talked quite a bit around Recruit already this episode, but just again to spell it out, Recruit is a new keyword which immediately summons a minion from your deck and puts them into play. Some Recruit cards have conditions like ranges and mana specifics. Gather Your Party does not, so this will just pull a random minion from your deck.
Right. One of the neutral cards that we'll talk about in a minute has a range on it. But yeah, this just pulls something from your deck.
So
Yes.
you're gonna want to have a deck that only has. This is like big warrior essentially.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to only have like 8, 9, 10 cost minions, and then the rest of your deck will be full of control tools, right?
Yeah.
So this will just be another way to get those minions out faster. And okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's an interesting deck building problem to solve, right?
Mhm.
Warrior is definitely the class that could probably take advantage of this. The other one would be something like a druid, would be pretty good for this. So yeah, this will be. Maybe we'll get to see some sort of big warrior. Now that being said, whenever someone says big anything, I go ugh. I don't wanna play that deck.
Well,
but people love these decks, so
Yeah.
clearly Blizzard likes them too.
Well,
so
This
I
will
guess
be-
it's just what we're
These
gonna deal
decks
with.
are fun to play, I think, when they go well.
yeah, they're just not
Yeah.
fun to play against when they go well. I think is the point Dills is making. But this is also slightly different, and our chat room has brought up multiple points over the course of the show. Like, you're not going to get many copies of the same thing that you get off of Gather Your Party that we know of. It's not like there's summon a copy of a minion you recruited. There might be, who knows, for Warrior, but I doubt it. I mean, the biggest issue with Big Priest is being able to bring back all of these things that you got lucky and got off of your barns. So we'll have to see. It takes it from your deck, so at most there's one other of that giant thing you got to worry about later on in the game, but time will tell, I think.
Yeah, I mean, getting 6 mana, what we're charging 4/9 guy, that's pretty good. I mean, there's gonna be stuff here. So the problem is
damn,
that
show's over, man.
What's that?
We should just start the welcome to Angry Chicken. There's gonna be stuff here.
Yeah, sure. But like the problem is like if you're playing a deck like this, you also want to be playing like draw cards and stuff, and so that means no acolytes and no other ways to really draw stuff. You're gonna have to draw through other means, but Warrior does have the control tools to make this work. So
yeah. I just want to try this card in Wild with like the most expensive BS Warrior deck I can put together.
Oh, dude, my quad gods deck. This definitely goes in that.
Yeah,
in Wild. Like all the old gods in this.
Mm-hmm. Quad gods. I forgot about that. You need to talk about your other meme decks.
The problem is that if you recruit like Cthulhu, he doesn't go off, but he's still a 14/14 or something, right? So.
Too much milkshake on the show. You need to talk about your other meme decks. But then I can't play
him in quad because then I'm never mind. I'd be recruiting like the things that buff the Cthulhu.
And yeah.
Never mind. Dreams crushed.
I bet you could find enough big Death Rattle minions so that N'Zoth works. Cthulhu would be, I think, I don't know.
But if you recruited your own N'Zoth, oh my god, that would suck.
Yep.
Yeah.
One thing that's kind of interesting, I see a very cool Dead Man's Hand kind of deck with this, where you only play a few big minions, and then you try to Dead Man's Hand more copies of them into your deck before you start recruiting them. That could be kind of cool.
That's almost like because Priest does so well with big stuff because they can res it, right? So
they res them and they like discover them and you know what I mean. So
it's almost like if you like pair a shuffle with another recruit, it's almost like a res.
Sure. Yeah.
Could be good.
Yep.
You just go infinite.
All right, we have not actually had a chance to talk about Marin the Fox yet. You all should have Marin, gold or not. I have both and can't disenchant either of them. So, anyways, Marin the Fox ended up being an 8-mana, 6/6 legendary neutral minion, not a pirate. He's totally a pirate. You guys are full of crap over at Team 5.
Adventurer.
Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on all of that. He's a damn pirate. He's wearing a poofy shirt. He's got knee-high boots. He's got long, fabulous hair that I'm jealous of. And the dumbest designed sword ever, but it's definitely still a pirate sword, even though it's poorly designed. So, and he has a battle cry that summons a 0/8 treasure chest for your opponent. Break it for awesome loot. And he's got a treasure chest. He's got a treasure chest. He's a pirate. Sorry.
Adventure.
Yeah. We haven't really talked about the chest either. It came up a few times today, but this is a 3-mana 0/8 legendary token. Has the border on it, but not the gem because of the new rules that we talked about in news with a death rattle that reads, give your opponent a fantastic treasure. And the fantastic treasures, there's 4 options with this. There's Talon's Goblet, which draws a card and fills your hand with copies of it. We got an email from a listener who got Purify off of Talon's Goblet and got a handful of Purify. Somewhere I think like Ben Brode like felt that, like Obi-Wan after Alderaan exploded. There's also the Wondrous Wand, which is a 3-mana spell that draws 3 cards. Those 3 cards cost 0. Zarog's Crown, which is a 3-mana spell that discovers a legendary minion. You get to summon 2 copies of that legendary minion that you discovered. And the Golden Kobold, which is a 3-mana 6/6 minion with taunt, and it has a battle cry that replaces your hand with legendary minions. Friend of the Golden Monkey.
I played some on stream last week, and it's fun. It's interesting to try to make it work. Crazed Alchemist is the best way I've found to do it so far. He's fun. He's not great.
Oh man! So all we need to do, all that needs to happen, Jocelyn, for you to like kind of like simmer down on big ridiculous cards is to actually play them.
Yeah, basically.
So the best deck that I've found for Marin is just Big Druid, because you can play him early enough that he's not absolutely terrible. You're not like you're playing a 6/6 on turn 6 instead of 8, right? So that's fine. And then you just kill the treasure, or you don't, or whatever. It's like you play big minions, and eventually you can hit it or not. But there's so many people trying to figure out how to how to make little special things, like you said, like the Crazed Alchemist, or playing Kodos, or
Well, yeah, because the
Shadowward
thing is,
Pain.
you don't necessarily want to run 8 damage worth into the treasure, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you want that 8 damage to either deal with actual minions that are a threat, or to go to your opponent's face. 8 damage is a lot of damage.
It is.
So you want to kind of figure out a way, especially that late in the game, you want to figure out a way to deal with the treasure chest to get the benefit without having to deal that 8 damage.
Yeah, but the problem there is you're also running a card that might not have applications outside of killing the treasure chest, so it doesn't end up doing anything for
Crazed
you.
Alchemist is pretty good because you can also use it on things like Doomsayers. Like if you're trying to run a deck full of like minions that you want on the board, then it has the Crazed Alchemist does have other uses, as does Shadowward Pain. But yeah, he's more fun than actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I found I was like probably could have won the game, but was stalling the game a lot, trying to wait until I had enough time to actually like play Marin, kill the treasure chest, do the thing, and then I could have just won the game by that point.
Mhm.
So
He's
poor Marin.
He's elite Tauren chieftain, but for this year, here's a card. All right, have fun.
Yeah.
And he's not good, but he's fun.
I like him. I'm really glad that they're doing cards for BlizzCon again. On top of that, they gave it to just everybody who logged in, a non-golden version. Plus, apparently everyone's doing it wrong. The correct answer we were looking for was going into Wild and playing Confused Priest. Confused Priest was the correct answer. That's what you should be doing with Mr. Marin the Fox.
There is an OTK where you play Marin the Fox, you Potion of Madness him, you double Divine Spirit Inner Fire him, and smash face for 32.
Gross.
Takes a lot to get there, though, because you have to pay 8 first, and then the treasure chest has to be there, and then it can't be a taunt, and then it's not a thing, but it is a thing, kind of, I guess.
Yeah. We haven't talked about Carnivorous Cube yet. This is a 5-mana 4/6 epic neutral minion with a battle cry that reads, destroy a friendly minion, death rattle, summon 2 copies of it.
This card
is the best card they've
seems
given us.
ridiculous. Yeah.
I think this is the best Hearthstone card ever. Just Carnivorous Cube, best card, and I would say best card NA, but best card regardless of region.
Yeah, it's real good.
Also,
except I don't understand
possibilities here. So
the physics of this, right? Like it eats one thing and then bring back 2 of that same thing. Like, wouldn't an ooze break something down?
Well, this is a cube, not an ooze.
Well, that's true.
I mean, it's
but
an ooze cube.
Oozy.
If you look at the
It's
card,
oozy.
it's an ooze cube. Yeah, don't question the Carnivorous Cube, Jocelyn.
Okay. I was just curious.
Or it will eat you and then summon 2 copies of you.
Who doesn't want 2 Josses?
I would love an extra me to just basically use as a clone to do my bidding.
The thing is that it only costs 5, so you can combo this guy. You know what I mean? You can actually play him the same turn you play the minion you're trying to do stuff for. So if you play something with a pretty decent battle cry, death rattle, you set off that death rattle, and then you get to set it off 2 more times later on. So also, if you're playing like a N'Zoth deck, you're not only going to be bringing back more versions of that with the N'Zoth, then when this dies after N'Zoth, after they have to clear that board, you get 2 more copies of whatever it killed. It's crazy. It's awesome. I love it. I'm gonna be playing so many different weird things with this card.
I mean, you're already playing a gelatinous cube that is giving you the freaking people's eyebrow. Does it have to get weirder than that?
Not really.
It's amazing. I love the art on this card. I love it. I haven't mentioned art yet. I love the art on that card.
How about this? Play White Eyes, Carnivorous
final?
Cube, your White Eyes. Put 2 Storm Guardians into your deck. Put a Storm Guardian in your deck. Summon back 2 more White Eyes. Put 2 more Storm Guardians into your deck. 3 Storm Guardians.
Gross. Disgusting. Nasty. Love it. Can't wait to play it. Such a good card. All right, final card for today. Guild Recruiter. This is a 5-mana 2/4 common neutral minion with a battle cry that reads, recruit a minion that costs 4 or less. So here is our only other example of recruit that we've seen so far, and there is a range on it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough awesome 4-cost minions for this to be super OP yet. we might find one at some point. But
well, and it's
you know,
4 or less, right? So there's
Yeah.
a chance you could get a 1-drop out of your deck for this.
well, what you
so-
do is you don't even play those. So a lot of people are bringing up the 4-mana 7/7, and you just don't
Yeah.
even play 1, 2, or 3 drops, right? Obviously, like that would be crazy to summon a 2/4 and a 7/7 on 5, and not have to overload to do it.
Yeah.
So you'd be putting in specific minions, and you probably wouldn't play 1 or 2 drops. But I also see, like, if you've got a 5-mana 2/4 plus a decent 3 or 4 drop on top of it, that's fine. But I don't think, like, I look at this card and I don't think OP,
It's just like,
right?
yeah, like having to leave out 1, 2, and possibly even 3 drops from your deck just seems like too much of a cost, you know?
And if you're leaving
Like,
out 1, or if you're leaving out 2 drops, you probably try to play Keleseth, but you can't play Keleseth because you don't want to recruit that.
right.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's we'll have to see what awesome. I think, like, you probably want the most possibility out of this. So I have to see if they give us a really, really sweet 4-drop at some point. But it seems like it's too fair to be in a constructed card. But maybe the meta is just going to be totally fair, and it's fine. It's got possibilities, though, for sure.
I mean, we've been saying this all year when we've been reviewing cards ahead of time, which was, hey, this looks balanced.
Yeah, how dare they?
Like, there's crazy things. We talked about a great deal of completely bonkers Hearthstone cards today, but we also just ran around the field multiple times with all of the extreme hardships we're going to have to go through to get these crazy things to work. Whereas this just does a thing, and it's pretty balanced for it.
Well, I like the fact that it's neutral, because then it allows me to play around with this idea in different classes, right? Because, you know, the chat room brought up, you know, this is one of the first things I thought of too, was the Injured Blade Master comes out without its battle cry. It's a 4/7, right? So you can play a 2/4 and a 4/7. But if you're gonna be running Blade Masters, you probably need to be playing Priest anyway, so that you can heal them if you don't get this to work, if you just draw
Right.
them. So it's like, you know, there's interesting ideas, and I want to be able to test them in all the different classes. So thank you for not making this like, you know, a rogue card or something like that. I think I like having interesting ideas outside that are neutral. So
Yeah.
it's not just like neutral cards are Bone Mares and Scalebanes and all that kind of stuff. Like, give me something weird that I could do, that I could try in all the classes.
Get weird, Hearthstone, get weird. Well, that does it for the cards for this week. I mean, the 20th is happening Monday next week. So next Tuesday, we'll have some cards to talk about. Although that means it's going to be light. And then on the 27th, it's going to be a windfall of cards to discuss.
Yeah, we'll probably have a million cards to go over. But
Yeah.
that's fine.
I would even consider pushing the episode. But next week is Thanksgiving here in the U.S., so that ain't going to happen. We got turkey to eat and useless things to buy at great discounts, but not before punching your neighbor to get to it.
Oh, Americans.
Oh, high and mighty. Like you've never wanted to, you know, cold cock somebody because you needed that TV. You needed it.
Hasn't ever come up.
Alrighty. Well, let's, before we take an email or two and wrap this up, let's thank our patrons supporting the Angry Chicken over at patreon.com/TAC. That is the best way to support this show. There are many of you over there directly supporting this here podcast, and we thank you for it because it makes things like traveling possible and also digestible afterwards when I look at my credit card statement. So thank you very much for helping Joss and I out with BlizzCon and Dills with his travels. This episode, we wanted to thank Michael W., Kevin G., Cody O., Ryan T., and Howard P. No last names given this week. Everyone gave a last name. Woo! You all know, you know what Ryan that is. Yeah, unless there's other Ryan T's. There probably are. But thank you all for supporting us, folks. Now let's take some emails.
Hello?
Hello, it's me.
Hello?
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh,
Hello, brother.
You can send your emails to tacpodcast@gmail.com. And Chris S. from Michigan writes in and says, hey, Enraged Cluckers. He started off with a bunch of compliments. Thank you very much, Chris. But I'm going to get past that and right to your point, which he says, I want to emphasize that I'm really excited about this new expansion. The cards and mechanics look amazing so far, and I think Team 5 has really shown us that their best stuff is still to come. The thing I'm most excited about, though, is the new Dungeon Run mode. I was blown away when they showed this off. This was the extra button I've been waiting for. I didn't watch the opening ceremony, so your episode was my first look at this, and I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. When Garrett finally asks, are there rewards for completing a run, I thought, silly Garrett, of course there are. I don't think I asked this question, by the way. This is either Joss or Justin, but whatever the case is, I just like someone saying silly Garrett. He says, of course there are rewards. They've said the word loot like 100 times. There is no way Blizzard would put all of this work into a new mode and then give absolutely no incentive. Wait, what the F did he just say? I was really bummed by this. I feel like there's a missed opportunity. All I want to be able to do is pay to play this mode, like Arena, or even for it to count towards my daily quests. I feel like without being to expand my collection while playing this mode, I really have no incentive to play it. I'm not saying I'll never play it, but it's not really a new button. If I want to play the game and earn new cards, which I've always thought was the point of a collectible card game, I have exactly 2 buttons I can push, play or Arena. You get new cards from Tavern Brawl. I'll throw that in there. Need to defend Tavern Brawl every now and then.
One pack a week, yeah.
Yeah. And Chris finishes with, let me clear one last thing. I know there is a lot of complaining on Reddit right now about wanting more free stuff. I don't want any more free stuff. I just want to use this new mode to earn the same free stuff that's already in the game.
So, if I remember correctly from our episode, the reasoning that I believe it was Yongwoo gave for not having any not having rewards was that they didn't want people to feel like they had to do dungeon runs in order to like earn the most stuff. Like they didn't want to push people that way. And I think they've actually done that, but like the opposite. They haven't pushed people to play dungeon run. They've now pushed people the other way to have to do arena or to have to do ladder. It would be really cool. I was super excited. Same thing. I was so excited about this because I was like, oh my God, they're going to let me, like play single player content to earn things. This is going to be great. Like I was really excited. And now they've kind of pushed me away from dungeon run because I agree. I only have a certain amount of time in Hearthstone and I want to be earning things while I'm doing it. So as much as
I'll do it once to get the card back. Once I get it done, I will never do it again because I'm spending time not earning anything. So
yeah.
To me, I think the proper way to do this would be somewhere around what they do in Eternal, which is that you can earn a few packs doing the to the AI. It's essentially an AI thing as well, or it just gets a little harder each time. You can the first few times you win it, you earn a couple packs, but once you've earned the few packs you get, from then on out they lower the rewards quite a bit, but you can still earn like a little bit of gold, right? Mm. So, but it's not as good as just playing ranked or playing draft or playing, like, you need to make it so that time spent still earns you less than if you had just played ranked. So let's say you finish the whole thing, you get somewhere around like, I don't know, 75 gold or something like that. But the reason why it'd be good for people is that if you don't have a very big collection, that doesn't matter for you. You can go in there, you can find a way to earn a little bit of gold to start getting your collection without having to have the collection in the first place, right? And obviously, Arena is that. Thing,
is that this is 100% free to play. There's no entry fee to go into it, and it doesn't rely on your collection at all in any way, shape, or form.
So it's just a grind. And obviously, there's people who might bot it, but you just use the tools you have to catch bots now, and you ban those people, right?
Exactly. I don't think everyone should be punished because people might bot.
Because some people bot,
Exactly.
But I know a lot of free-to-play players, they play their Tavern Brawl once a week, and they basically don't touch the game because they can't win. Even at low ranks, they can't win because their collection is so bad, right? Mm-hmm. And, they're playing River Crocs and stuff like that. And then even at, like rank 20, they can't beat anybody with their decks because even at rank 20, you're seeing basically meta decks from people who've been playing for a long time but don't play that much. Mm-hmm. So this would be a great way to just be like, your collection doesn't matter. It's a grind and you don't win that much, but if you played 3 days in a row, you'd have enough to buy a pack now, right?
Right.
And you can do stuff. You'll be in the game playing, and rather than just like put the game away in between weeks when I play my one tavern brawl and then I stop.
Mm-hmm. Even if they awarded it the same as Tavern Brawl, like even if like you completed one dungeon run a week and you got a pack, like that would be great. Just
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, anything.
I'd definitely be replaying it. I get my pack every week. Yeah.
So devil's advocate.
You say something.
so devil's advocate, and I will lead with I do not believe what I'm about to say, and it is getting increasingly difficult to defend some of the decisions made by Team 5. But I enjoy roguelikes. I'm a big Spelunky fan, and I just play Spelunky because Spelunky is good. And this is a roguelike. If it's just good, which the...
Well, but is it though?
Limited... What?
A roguelike? Because in a roguelike, when your character dies, you still get to, like, pass your stuff on to the next character in some way, shape, or form, right? But these are fully self-contained runs.
It's not true of every roguelike ever, I don't think. And I don't think that's necessarily...
I could be wrong. I don't play them very often, but I thought that was kind of like one of the pieces of the roguelike puzzle was that when your first character dies, like your progression in the game is the knowledge that you gain, and usually you could pass something on. So like if you could pass on your treasures to make your next character stronger, then I would agree that that would make it roguelike. But this kind of isn't, because it's a full fresh start every time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's technically a forced thing in roguelikes. I know some do work that way, but I don't know if they all do.
Whether it is or not, even if they did do that in this game, it wouldn't address Chris's concern or anything that the two of you say, because you'd be getting stuff specifically for this mode and not for anything you could use anywhere else in the game. So it doesn't really go with my point anyway.
It doesn't really matter.
Let's sit here and just talk about roguelikes in general.
Sorry.
Well, the thing is, no matter what, it's going to be fun, and fun is enough of an incentive usually.
Yes.
But the problem that I have with it is it could be fun and a great tool for free-to-play players. And I feel like it's just a missed opportunity. Doesn't mean I'm not going to play it, but it just means that I won't play it as much as I would have if I could have just gotten a little more rewards. And that's kind of sad, because it's going to be like content that they made that then won't be played very often, right? So think about World of Warcraft. They built all this awesome content, and then they realized like 1% of the player base was playing it, back in the day. They were like, well, we probably should give more people a way to play this. And this kind of feels like that to me, where it's like we made all this awesome stuff, and then because of the lack of a reward system, you're basically going to have everybody like play it a little bit and then all kind of stop. And then all of a sudden it's going to be just a mode that's in the game that's barely seeing play. And I don't want there to be modes like that are just not seeing play. I think it's bad for the game personally. So I hope they reconsider. I don't think they should offer a lot of rewards. I think it should be a very, very much just a grindy way to earn a little gold and a little extra, just a way to increase your collection without having to play against other players. That's all.
Yeah.
I think being able to complete your quests is a reasonable suggestion. Being able to earn gold is a reasonable suggestion.
I think if you can complete your quests against friends, then there's no reason you shouldn't be able to complete your quests in
like
solo play.
Games.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that
get
kind of
7 wins in any game mode, like that, those kind of things. I don't see why there's any reason that you shouldn't be able to do it in this specific dungeon run single player content.
It would be a great way for someone without, and if that's the case, then that kind of counts, because it's like a way to be able to win 3 Druid games without Druid, right? Or without a lot of Druid cards. That would be fantastic for a new.
I would this is where, because I know, like, I do a lot of quests in Tavern Brawl when you can actually complete quests that way, and I would do dungeon runs over Tavern Brawl 100% of the time. I would just probably never play Tavern Brawl again. I would just dungeon run.
Give me a card pack and yes. Yeah. I'm with you there. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm doing my best to play devil's advocate. It sounds like we're all on the same page here. I just don't understand why you would seemingly put this much effort into a mode that doesn't seem to incentivize players to play it. To a certain degree, I'm going to play it. The thing I'm most excited about this is for Hearthstone on the go. My dislike of mobile Hearthstone is well documented. Part of that is because I don't trust any connection I'm ever on unless I'm at home. So I just go and play it on desktop.
Player and lose a star and all that, right?
Exactly.
So here's like a low low stress version of Hearthstone you can play.
Yeah, I will probably play a lot of this while doing things like waiting in the airport. But I would also, I want an offline mode of this if I can't get anything out of it. Give me an offline mode so I don't have to pay for Wi-Fi on the plane, please.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
If that was part of
If
this,
this
that
is
would
the
be
offline
fantastic.
play, yeah, this would be great.
That's where my head
Way to play
goes.
Hearthstone all the time.
Is don't give me anything and give me any offline experience for Hearthstone, please. But it's weird. It's in this weird nebulous place where it's just like, well, I feel like they could have given something and it wouldn't have been a big issue and everyone would have been happy. But I don't know. It's just weird because I'm very excited about this mode. The demo was great, and the demo only went up to the third boss,
fun.
and it was not really hard by the third boss. And it over awarded the loot, as mentioned by Dave on our podcast. You're only going to get it every other boss for these kind of big game changing pieces of loot.
Right. The demo was specifically much easier than the actual game mode is going to be.
Right. And it's awesome. It works so well in Hearthstone, and I'm so excited for the concept of it because it's something I would have never have conceived in my brain, and it seems to work really well. It feels like something that Hearthstone could have always had, but it is strange that there's a card back and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, keep those emails coming, tacpodcast@gmail.com. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. We'll be back next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time over right here on twitch.tv/amovetv like normal. We're back to our normal schedule, folks. All three of us should be here, late last-minute Con Crud or a resurgence for me, notwithstanding, knocking on wood. But thank you again to our patrons for supporting us. If you enjoy this podcast and you want to support it, check out patreon.com/TAC. Huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H., Michael N., Sean C., and Johnny S. Y'all are awesome. Thank you very much. You can get Angry Chicken t-shirts over at shirts.amove.tv, custom etched glassware at etch.amove.tv. The Twitter account is @TAC Podcast if you want to tweet at the show. Dills, you're back. We're all back. Where can folks find you doing more stuff since you're back?
Mostly just check me out on Twitch. I have been not streaming at all. I tried to stream one night from the hotel in Vegas, and it was terrible. I had 1 megabyte up and 1 down, and it just did not work. So excited to be back, excited to get back into streaming. So look for that. I'll be trying to stream as much as possible, and not going anywhere for a while. So that'll be sweet. So just to be home for a little bit. So twitch.tv/WillieDills. On Twitter, I'm @WillieDills.
I stumbled across this new thing some hotels are doing where you can pay for premium internet. This was, I think this was mentioned on my panel that I was on at BlizzCon by Trade Chat. And then I went back and I had to post some stuff. And I'm like, this internet is unusable. Let me see if they offer anything. And for it was like $16, more than you probably should pay. But oh my God, it was copious amounts of internet.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, I just can't. If there's like a free option, I'm just like, huh. But if I was there for 3 weeks or something, I would probably have to do it just so I could get the streams in, Or if I had to upload episodes, I think uploading episodes, that's definitely a good enough reason.
Yeah. Jocelyn, how about you? Where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm @JossPlays. I've started doing a little bit more of a regular streaming schedule over on my channel. So we do Warcraft and PUBG on Tuesday nights. We do Hearthstone on Thursdays. We do the creative stream on Fridays. So make sure you go and check that out. Also, go to bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2017 if you'd like to donate to our campaign. We did the 24-hour marathon on twitch.tv/JossPlays. That was this past Saturday. We raised over $4,000 for the Children's Miracle Network, and donations are open all the way till the end of December. So if you didn't catch the live stream or didn't get a chance to donate or are waiting for any reason, the donations are 100% deductible, as well as they go 100% to the Children's Miracle Network. We don't take a cut. Extra Life doesn't take a cut. It's a great cause. So if you'd like to support that, again, that's bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2017.
And that's not all. You and I are bringing back our Warcraft podcast this week. Tomorrow, to be exact, we should be recording around 3 p.m. Eastern time to not only talk about all of the World of Warcraft awesomeness that was announced at BlizzCon 2017, but to also continue supporting your Extra Life run and donations. So tune into that and donate to the Extra Life at that bit.ly/TGI Extra Life.
TGI Extra Life 2017.
2017, yeah! I almost recalled it from memory without looking up show notes that weren't these ones because it wasn't written down. Folks, I'm on Twitter at Garrett Art. You can find me there, 2 R's, 2 T's, and Garrett. amove.tv is the place for all of the other podcasts that I do. But if you are out there and you went to BlizzCon and missed my panel or got the virtual ticket and haven't watched it yet, that's the thing I want to promote this week. Go and find, because it's still up, and I think until the end of the week, and then it's gone forever. Living Blizzard. It was the name of the Blizzard, the panel that I was on at BlizzCon with many, many, many creators that I am a huge fan of. It was one of the coolest things I've ever been lucky enough to do. And I think there's actually some good information there if you've ever been interested in making your own content. So if you have a BlizzCon virtual ticket, go over there, look up Living Blizzard, give it a watch, and then maybe tell Blizzard that that Garrett guy was really awesome so I get invited back to do stuff. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. So that's going to wrap it up for this week. We'll be back next week with more cards to talk about. But until then, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!